When I was doing my preliminary research for this project, I saw a statistic that really jumped out to me. That is, in 2020 2021, paraprofessionals were the most common type of hire in school districts across the country. This particular statistic was interesting to me because I've been working in schools as a paraprofessional for the last 5 years, and it got me wondering, what districts are these paraprofessionals being hired into? All right, I'm going to back up a little bit and describe what a paraprofessional is in case you don't know. After the passing of the Americans with Disabilities Act, it became federally mandated that schools provide adequate and equitable access to public education for Americans with disabilities. If a student has a disability that qualifies them for an individualized education plan, or IEP, then that student is placed in the special education program. As the federal legislation states, students with IEPs receive a modified curriculum that is designed to meet their specific needs, and they are also entitled to what is called the least restrictive environment. The least restrictive environment means that students with disabilities must be placed in general education classrooms with their peers as much as reasonably possible. Now, with all these students having IEPs, and all spread out between special education and general education classrooms, you can imagine that this is a heavy workload for the special education teachers. This is where paraprofessionals come in. They are a support for the teachers and the students alike. They are the eyes and ears of the special education team. They are a tutor to the students. They help manage classroom behaviors, and they help organize and modify instructional materials. A quick personal anecdote, I was working in a very small rural school in Minnesota, about 200 students total, 40 of which had IEPs, and there were 9 paraprofessionals on staff, including me. I was having a conversation with the special ed coordinator about her previous experience teaching in a large school in the Minneapolis district, which had around 300 students with IEPs. I said, "Holy cow, what are there, like 80 paraprofessionals on staff?" And she said, "No, 6." I couldn't comprehend how that could be true. They had more students with IEPs than our entire student body, and yet somehow they had less paras on staff. And since then, I've always wondered if this was a common trend nationwide, and this project was a perfect opportunity to sit down and do the research. What I found was, countrywide since 1980, paraprofessional staffing has more than doubled, and according to a comprehensive RAND research report, rural districts were more likely to hire paraprofessionals than their urban counterparts. Well, there it is. But why? That's the question. The RAND report doesn't really investigate the reasons why, so I guess I'm just going to speculate some possible reasons. To me, the most likely reason is financial. Even though paraprofessionals, on average, earn below poverty wages, many schools are so strapped for cash that they don't have the available resources to hire. Especially in underprivileged districts, this could directly translate to insufficient numbers of support staff. One article I read suggested that some districts are hesitant to hire more paraprofessionals because it may lead to an over-reliance on them, causing dysfunction in the ways the education system operates. All I know is that it's clear that there's a systemic inequality in the distribution of paraprofessionals between rural and urban districts. And I know from experience that adding a paraprofessional into a difficult classroom leads to an easier life for the teacher and better outcomes for the students. There are school districts in this state that only have a 70% graduation rate, and I know that hiring more paraprofessionals would be a relatively inexpensive way to help them out.